The power of letting go. Lie-Tzu and the path of the Tao. Have you ever felt trapped by something you can't control? Have you ever fought against inevitable changes and felt the weight of attachment? What if I told you there is a lighter and more harmonious way to live? In today's video, we will explore the philosophy of Lie-Tzu, one of the great masters of Taoism, and discover how his teachings can transform the way we see life. Using excerpts from the Book of Lieh-Tzu, a Classic of Tao, we will dive into the concept of letting go, understand the illusion of control, and learn how to flow with the universe. If you are looking for inner peace, emotional freedom, and a new perspective on life, stay with us until the end. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This helps us continue bringing high-quality content on consciousness, well-being, and ancient wisdom. Now, let's embark on this journey of transformation together. He who flows as life flows knows that there is neither beginning nor end. He accepts things as they are and finds serenity in the movement of the universe. To understand the teachings of Lie-Tzu, we first need to explore the context in which he lived. Lie-Tzu, also known as Lie-Tzu, was a Taoist philosopher of ancient China. Little is known about his life, and even his historical existence is debated. It is believed that he lived between 400 BCE and 301 BCE, during the Warring States period, an era marked by political conflicts and constant wars. It was a time of great instability, but also of intense philosophical flourishing. The Tao and Lie-Tzu's vision. This was the era of giants of Chinese thought, such as Confucius, Lao-Tzu, and Chuang-Tzu, each offering different paths to harmony and wisdom. Lie-Tzu was one of the main exponents of Taoism, a philosophy that emphasizes harmony with nature, the flow of life, and the acceptance of the Tao, a concept that can be translated as the way or the natural order of the universe. While Lao-Tzu, the founder of Taoism, and Chuang-Tzu, another important master, approached the Tao in a profound and poetic way, Lie-Tzu stood out through his stories and parables, teaching through seemingly simple narratives that carried deep messages about detachment, impermanence, and freedom. Unlike other philosophies that encourage constant effort to shape reality, Taoism, and especially Lie-Tzu, teaches that true power lies in letting go, not in holding on. According to Lie-Tzu, resisting the natural flow of life is like trying to hold water in your hands, a futile struggle. Instead, we must learn to trust the course of events, accepting what comes and letting go of what leaves. This principle strongly resonates today in a world where we are constantly pressured to control everything. But is this control real, or are we simply deluding ourselves? Now that we understand the background of Lie-Tzu's philosophy, let's dive into his teachings and discover how we can apply them to our daily lives. He who does not cling to the past, does not fear the future, and fully lives in the present finds true freedom. The teachings of Lie-Tzu. Now that we understand the historical and philosophical context of Lie-Tzu, let's dive into his teachings. Lie-Tzu invites us to see life differently, moving away from the illusion of control and embracing acceptance. His teachings can be organized into three main pillars: detachment and the illusion of control, the wisdom of simplicity, inner freedom and harmony with the Tao, detachment and the illusion of control. One of Lie-Tzu's most profound teachings is the idea that the desire for control is an illusion. Life is in constant motion, and when we try to hold on to it or shape it according to our will, we suffer. Lie-Tzu tells the story of a man obsessed with avoiding death. He feared the end so much that he spent his entire life looking for ways to protect himself. He avoided risks, refused change, and isolated himself from the world. But in the end, He realized that he was not truly living, only existing in fear. The lesson is clear. The more we cling to what we cannot control, the more we suffer. Instead of resisting inevitable changes, Lie-Tzu teaches us to follow the flow of the universe, accepting life's highs and lows without resistance. Reflection. Question. How many times have you tried to control something only to realize in the end that your effort was in vain? The wisdom of simplicity. Another essential teaching of Lie-Tzu is the value of simplicity. He believed that worry and suffering arise from excess desires, thoughts, and ambitions. To him, a good life was a light life, free from unnecessary burdens. One of his most famous stories is about a man who desperately wanted to be happy. He accumulated wealth, sought recognition, and constantly desired more. But the more he had, the emptier he felt. It was only when he lost everything and was forced to live simply that he finally understood happiness is not in what we possess, but in how we live. Lie-Tzu reminds us that more often than not, peace is not about gaining more, but about letting go of what weighs us down. Reflection. Question: what in your life today is bringing you more weight than joy? Inner freedom and harmony with the Tao. Finally, Lie-Tzu teaches us about inner freedom. True freedom does not come from the external world, but from the way we deal with it. Someone can be physically free, yet remain a prisoner of their own fears, anxieties, and desires. On the other hand, there are those who, even in difficult circumstances, find peace within themselves. Lie-Tzu believed that living in harmony with the Tao, the natural flow of the universe, was the path to true freedom. This means accepting impermanence, living in the present, trusting that everything follows its natural course. He teaches us that the secret to life is not in fighting against the current, but in allowing ourselves to be carried by it. Reflection. Question: what can you let go of today to live more lightly? Conclusion of this segment. Lie-Tzu's teachings are an invitation to a lighter, more fluid and harmonious life. He teaches us that when we let go of the illusion of control, embrace simplicity, and trust the flow of life, we find true peace. In the next segment, we will explore how to apply these principles in daily life, transforming knowledge into practice. Lie-Tzu, quote, "Nothing in the world belongs to you, not even yourself. Let go, and you will find freedom." Practical application in the modern world. We live in a fast-paced world full of pressures, expectations, and distractions. Unlike Lie-Tzu's ancient China, where the rhythm of life was dictated by nature, today we are constantly bombarded by information, responsibilities, and demands. But even in this chaotic world, can we still apply Lie-Tzu's teachings? The answer is yes, and doing so can transform the way we live. In this section, we will explore 3 practical ways to bring Lie-Tzu's wisdom into our daily lives. 1. Practicing detachment in everyday life. 2. Finding lightness in simplicity. 3. Flowing with the present instead of resisting it. 1. Practicing detachment in everyday life. One of the biggest challenges of the modern world is our attachment to control. We want to control our relationships, our future, our emotions. But, as Lie-Tzu taught, the more we try to hold on to something, the more we suffer when it slips through our fingers. How can we practice detachment in real life? Reducing the need to control everything. Not everything needs to be planned or predictable. Leave room for the unexpected. Accepting that people and situations change, relationships end, opportunities come and go. Resisting this only creates suffering. Letting go of perfectionism. In a world where everything feels like a competition, allowing yourself to make mistakes and be imperfect is an act of liberation. Practical exercise. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. Write down 3 things you're trying to control, but are actually beyond your reach. Now take a deep breath and ask yourself, what if I simply accepted this as it is? 2. Finding lightness in simplicity. In today's world, we often believe that happiness means having more money, more status, more achievements. But Lie-Tzu teaches us that true happiness comes from needing less. Living simply does not mean giving up everything, but freeing ourselves from excess, from what weighs on the soul. How can we bring this into daily life? Slowing down, give yourself permission to do things at a calm pace. Not everything has to be rushed. Reducing distractions. Less time on your phone, fewer unnecessary commitments, fewer trivial worries. Valuing simple moments. The pleasure of a warm cup of tea, a sunset, quality time with someone you love. Practical exercise. Choose one moment in your day to experience fully, without rushing. It could be drinking your tea, eating a meal, or even walking without looking at your phone. Feel every detail. 3. Flowing with the present instead of resisting it. Many times we live trapped in the past or anxious about the future, but Lie-Tzu reminds us that the only real moment is now. How can we practice this idea? Accepting what cannot be changed. Instead of feeling frustrated about the past or fearing the future, focus on the present. Practicing surrender. When things don't go as planned, take a deep breath and say to yourself, this is part of life's flow. Bringing awareness to your actions. Whatever you are doing, working, cooking, talking, be fully present. Practical exercise. When you feel anxious or frustrated, ask yourself, what can I actually control right now? If the answer is nothing, just breathe and trust that everything will unfold in its own time. Conclusion of this section. Lie-Tzu's teachings are not just ancient stories. They are powerful tools to transform how we live today. By practicing detachment, valuing simplicity, and living in the present, we find a peace that does not depend on external circumstances. Now, let's move on to the final part of the video, where we will reflect on everything we have learned and make a final reflection on how to integrate these teachings into our journey. End, conclusion, and reflection. Throughout this video, we have explored Lie-Tzu's teachings and how they can help us live more lightly and harmoniously. We have seen that detachment frees us from suffering. Simplicity brings lightness to life. Flowing with the present is the path to true peace. But now comes an important question. How can we carry this forward? The answer is not in trying to change everything at once, but in small daily practices. Whenever you feel anxious or frustrated, breathe and trust the flow of life. Whenever you catch yourself stuck in the past or future, return to the present and appreciate the now. And above all, remember that you don't have to hold on to everything all the time. Letting go is also an act of courage. Reflection. Question: what can you let go of right now to live more lightly? If this video brought you any insights, leave a comment sharing what resonated most with you. And if you want to keep exploring topics like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This helps us continue bringing inspiring and transformative content. Thank you so much for being here. See you